Tell me the truth. Is this you? You know that you need to make a change, but you are still stuck in the same old patterns, day after day after day. You're living the same overwhelmed, exhausted life that you have always lived. And you might even look fine on the outside, but inside every single day, you feel like you are just drowning. And when you look into the future, you just see this pattern repeating over and over and over again forever. You might even know deep down that you need to make a change. You might even really, really want to. But it's like your ADHD brain and the rest of the world are conspiring to keep you stuck in those same old patterns. If this is you, you are not alone, and this video is for you. I'm Tiff, a neuroscience professor with a PhD and ADHD and a mom of two. And I am on a mission to help women go from constantly overwhelmed and barely surviving to energetic, empowered, confident, and truly thriving in harmony with your brain so that you can build a life that you love. That's what we do here on this channel, and we dive even deeper with the amazing women in the ADHD Success Lab. So let's go. So why do our brains keep us stuck even though we know that we want to change? Why is this particularly hard when you have ADHD? And most importantly, what can we do about it? And I want to talk about a game-changing, very straightforward strategy that has helped me persevere and achieve some very long-term, very tough goals. And then at the end, I'm going to share my favorite mindset trick to get unstuck and start taking action right away, so stick around. Now, if it feels like your brain is working against you when you are trying to get unstuck and take action and make change, it is. No, really, it is. If you're surprised to hear me say that, here's the deal. Your brain was built with one mission in mind: to help you survive and keep you safe. And do you know what feels unsafe? New things, change, anything you don't know the specific likely outcome of. And yes, that includes changes that you actually want to make. You can think of it like change your danger. That was bad. I'm sorry. I'll probably edit that one out. Yes, that means that even though you know you want to make a change and you know that making that change would be better for your health, your wealth, your happiness, or all of the above, that pesky brain is out to just keep you alive because change equals death to your brain. And so that makes doing new things a little bit difficult. Now, for an ADHD brain that already needs to feel interested and excited in order to do something, and because you have ADHD, you struggle with the task initiation and executive function that's involved in planning changes that you want to make. This can be a particularly effective way for your ADHD brain to just prevent you from ever making the changes that you really want to make. And to cap it all off, the heightened emotional sensitivity of an ADHD brain means that you feel that unpleasantness involved in change more deeply. And bonus points, when you don't accomplish the change, you feel worse about yourself than a neurotypical person might. So the ADHD brain has some specific special challenges right out the gate, but they are definitely overcomeable. Stick with me. So that means all of that internal resistance you feel when you're trying to do something new, all of that shame, all of those past experiences where you've tried to make a change and it hasn't worked out, that's not laziness, lack of motivation, or any kind of personal failing on your part. This is just your biology and evolution conspiring to just check and make sure that you really want to make that change and that you won't die. Thanks, brain. Now, the good news is that all of our brains have something called neuroplasticity, which is just a very long word, meaning that your brain is flexible and can be taught a new, safe normal. Now, this means that a lot of the responsibility will fall on you to teach your brain what this new normal is, that you're not going to die while you're putting in the reps so your brain can decide that this is a new normal and that this is safe. Right about now, you're probably thinking, cool, Tiff, but I've quit every single time in the past that I have tried to make a change. I mean, me too, and every ADHDer on the planet. But here's a mindset shift for you about having quit on yourself in the past. If you are here right now and you are still trying to figure it out, you haven't actually quit. I'm going to say that again. If you are still here trying to figure it out, you haven't quit. Your path just hasn't gone the way you envisioned it, and that's okay. And good news, neuroplasticity doesn't expire, so there is still time to try something new. And so there is just one key to this that everyone misses, but I would say that it at least doubles your chances of succeeding in whatever change you want to make. And if you do this, it will help you ditch the shame and persevere instead of give up. Ready? Before you pursue any goal or change, you have to know what to expect. Realistically, think about it this way. When you have watched anyone's journey, like the real journey, not the before and after photos that you see, or watched any movie or read any book, there is a process to getting from point A to point B if point B is somewhere worth getting to, right? You start on your journey, you've got to struggle, you've got to meet someone that's going to help you along the way, you persevere, you solve the problem, and then you live happily ever after, unless you're a Game of Thrones character. And so this isn't just good storytelling. This is actually any goal worth pursuing in life. Does Frodo just walk into Mordor and chuck the Ring of Power into Mount Doom? No. Does Harry just walk up to Voldemort and off him? No. Not only would that be super boring, but also completely unrealistic. And think of anything in your own life that you are really proud of. I am willing to bet that the things in your life that have come very easily or been given to you, you don't feel as proud of as the things that you had to work toward, figure out, and eventually achieve. In high school, when I could ace a test with pretty minimal studying at 3 a.m. the night before, I didn't feel like I was super special or super smart. I just thought, I'm a good test taker, and thank God, because I hate studying. Now, when I got to college and had to actually figure out how to not get a C on my biology tests like I did on the first one, and end up graduating with a good GPA and going on to a PhD program, I was pretty darn proud of figuring that out and getting to that point. Okay, back to struggle. Struggling to stay on the point. Man, I have a lot of dumb jokes today. How do we get through struggle? So, like I said at the beginning, the answer is simple. Doing it is not easy. But you have to know what to expect. You have to know that you are guaranteed, 100% guaranteed, to struggle. Let me say this again. It is not a maybe. It is not a possibly. It is not a probably. It is a guarantee you that is going to happen situation. You live in what is called the comfort zone. Comfort zone is safe, easy, it's comfortable, it's familiar, and comfortable. Things are certain. Now, outside of that comfort zone is something called the discomfort zone. Your discomfort zone, instead of feeling safe, feels scary. Instead of feeling easy, it feels hard. And instead of feeling certain, it feels uncertain. All unpleasant things. The discomfort zone is what your brain is trying to protect you from. That is why it feels uncomfortable. Now, on the other side of the discomfort zone is something called the growth zone. You can think of this like utopia. The growth zone feels hopeful, it feels exciting, and it is filled with endless possibilities. And that's where you want to be, because when you get there, then the magic happens. Here's the cool thing. If you can get across that comfort zone into your growth zone, eventually your comfort zone will expand into that growth zone and give you a new, larger comfort zone. Crazy, right? If you can push through that comfort, you can find a place where life is better and feels comfortable and natural and awesome. So now what was your growth zone feels safe, feels easy, feels certain. So this expanded comfort zone is your brain saying, this is my new normal. I like it here. I think we'll stay. Now, here's what happens when your comfort zone expands. Guess what's just outside of that new comfort zone? You have a new discomfort zone. But on the other side of that new discomfort zone, guess what? There is a new growth zone. That means you get the opportunity, if you choose to cross that discomfort zone, to grow even more and pursue new, exciting, happy possibilities. Now, if you're sitting there being like, sure, some people can do that, but not me, you've already done this hundreds, if not thousands of times since you were born, because this is how you have literally learned every single thing you've ever done. From birth till now, you had to go through the discomfort of learning every single new thing. So your comfort zone is much bigger than it was when you were a baby, and it's bigger than it was 1 week, 6 months, 1 year ago even. So the discomfort zone involves a lot of very real fears and emotions that are actually completely unfounded, and real talk will not kill you. Your brain is just making you feel like they're going to kill you. We take these warning signals from our brain as truth without actually examining whether they're true and whether there's actually any danger there. And this can lead us to quit before we even try. And here's where that simple but not easy solution that I promised comes in. You need to expect that it is going to feel very uncomfortable, and that feeling of discomfort is not only normal, but it means you are doing something right. So that when you feel it and you start to doubt, you say, no, 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 I'm supposed to feel this way. This is good. This means I'm doing it right. Here's a pro tip: defining why you want to get to that growth zone on a deep personal level, not why other people think you should get there, but why you yourself really want to get there, why it will feel good, why it is important to you. Defining that will give you strength to weather the inevitable discomfort you're going to feel as you cross that discomfort zone on your way to the growth zone. Now, expecting the discomfort zone to be discomforting is the first step. The second step is knowing the cycle of what happens inside the discomfort zone. Because what happens inside the discomfort zone is actually what causes everyone, not just ADHDers, to quit. So it turns out when you want to make a change, there's actually a very predictable emotional cycle that you will go through, and it has 5 stages, and almost everyone quits at step 3. Because we get so excited about change, ADHDers will find ourselves in this cycle more often than most. When we start out to make a change, we are likely super excited about that change. We are sure everything is going to work out. Our dreams are just over the horizon. It is happening. If you're someone with ADHD, this might actually just be another Tuesday for you. I see you. At this stage, we also have a lot of enthusiasm. Maybe we've got some momentum, and so we dive in all the way. This stage is called uninformed optimism, because we feel really good about what's going to happen, but we don't actually really have any idea about what it's going to entail. Now, as you dive in, you start to try things and learn more things and figure out what this is really going to take. And you figure out this is going to be hard. And here we let our brain's very normal, very unhelpful hesitation start to seep in. And we start to think, maybe this is a signal that I should quit. You have now entered stage 2. Informed pessimism. You know what it's going to take, and you're feeling like it might just not work out. Because you're doing all of these new things that are hard and very long-term, your emotional state continues to decline until you hit rock bottom, and that's when you hit the valley of despair. This is when everything feels hard and you don't feel good about your chances of succeeding. If you don't expect to feel that way, if you don't know that that is a normal part of the process, this is where you will quit. This is where everyone quits, not just ADHDers. Now, here's why knowing you're probably going to hit the valley of despair at some point is magic. Because of your brain's neuroplasticity and ability to learn and the information that you're taking in, you are inevitably going to learn and get better and keep experimenting and grow. And things start to tick up a little bit. And as they start to tick up, you hit the magic spot, which is informed optimism. Now you know what it's going to take, and you can also see how you could get there, that it is possible. When you get to this point, you can see the finish line. You can see that this is going to work out. You are just a hop, skip, and a jump from stage 5, which is success. So if you know the valley of despair is coming, you know that it is normal, you know that it will suck, and you know that those struggles have nothing to do with you. They are not a personal failing. They are just an inevitability. Now what you'll find is it becomes much easier to persevere because you know it's coming. You recognize it when it's there. When you're starting to feel that despair and self-doubt, you say, I knew this was coming. This is normal. I'm going to keep going anyway because I know that the only way out is through. This has been an incredibly helpful thing for me as I've started this YouTube channel. Not only was I nervous to get started and what would people think of me and would it work out and can I grow it, but all of those imposter syndrome feelings when no one was watching or liking or commenting or subscribing. But you're cooler than that. So, like, comment, subscribe. So even though these emotions were tough and that imposter syndrome sucks so bad, I knew they were coming. I have experienced this imposter syndrome before. And so I just kept going. I got myself a coach, I figured out a process, and I decided to trust the process. And it has gotten so much better. And now sometimes people subscribe or like or comment, and I'm hearing from people that my videos are actually helping. And those things have given me a lot of momentum. And now I can see, even though my channel is still small, if I trust the process and keep evolving, it's going to grow and I'm going to get to reach even more people and help even more people with ADHD. And so I'm really glad that not only did I start and decide to tackle the discomfort zone, but that I persevered when I hit that valley of despair. And there will be more valleys of despair in my future as I keep going with this. I'm sure of it. But things are always scarier when you don't expect them. And my brain is now much more willing to move on through those feelings because I know it's worked in the past. Now, you still might be thinking, cool. Now I'm like prepared for this emotional roller coaster that sounds super fun, by the way, but I'm still stuck, Tiff, like what the what? And that is also normal, but here's my favorite trick for getting unstuck when I like really want to make a change and I might be really scared to do it. You ready? This is the question I asked myself that actually launched me on the road to getting out of burnout and got me to where I am today, where I like myself and feel good about my day-to-day and look forward to my future, and I'm happy most of the time. If I was right here in this mental state 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years down the road, would I be okay with that? And if the answer is a certain and visceral and utter nope, then I know I may as well get started, because the longer I delay, the further I am from ever not feeling like I'm feeling right now. So really getting in touch with the way that you don't want to feel anymore can be a really powerful motivator to start taking that first step. And here's a pro tip. Challenge yourself to take messy action, meaning you don't have to have it all perfectly planned. You're not quite sure if it's going to succeed or if you're doing it right or it's going to look perfect, but you do it anyway because the learning comes from the doing. So get started, even imperfectly. And start putting in the reps of doing it scared. And most importantly, remember, you are not doing this alone, okay? I got you. If you want to learn more about how curiosity and continuation can change your life, even if you are an executive function disaster like me, watch this video next. You got this.